How's everybody doing? The Bearded Butchers are live on YouTube. You get Scott, you get Seth. We're here for maybe up to an hour. There's comments rolling in. People are joining. We're going to have some fun with it. Let's just get started.
That's right. Welcome, everybody. Which is actually not our first live. We did a live just like streaming from our phone maybe a few years ago. But want to bring you guys just current updates, things like that. Try to answer some questions as we go through. And just basically, here's an opportunity to connect with our audience. We certainly appreciate every single one of you guys and gals that is a subscriber to our channel. So thank you. It's Friday, noon Eastern here in Ohio. We spent the morning in the butcher shop, kind of getting everything lined up for the weekend. Usually by this time of the week, we're starting to wind down our processing.
And we had a busy week, too.
Very busy week.
We butchered a lot of cattle, butchered some pigs. We have a local community event going on this weekend in Creston, Ohio. It's called the Ox Roast. They are just cattle, colored cattle, but they've called it the Ox Roast for about 50 or 60 years. So we butchered those up. We cubed them in pieces, and then tomorrow morning they'll be here bright and early, and they'll put them in their kettles and cook them up for a community event for a fundraiser.
Yeah, that's been going on for like 75 years, and it was a staple to the community. And we actually did a video on that 1 year ago. So if you go back, look through our previous videos, you're going to see one that says we butchered some oxen or cooking beef for a whole town or something like that. But
Small
anyway,
town America.
Yeah, you can watch that entire video and get all that information. But that's what's going on this week. We've been busy, really busy. As you know, we've got a headquarters that we're working on. In fact, we are currently right now in our trailer. So when we built out our butcher shop, we didn't really have an administrative side to it. We just had a very small office. Really only 2 people can fit in there. And then as the Bearded Butcher brand grew, we needed more place for administration. And we had the opportunity to buy the business across the street, which is formerly a sale barn for livestock auctions. And it worked out great because it had an office in it. And the previous tenant, they had rented for a bit, and then they moved out. So we took over, and it was a great place to get together. We could fit a dozen or more people in there as far as the space. But it was severely dated and literally in a barn. So, like, in the winter, it was, like, real cold in there. Your feet would get cold. And then we had plans to build out a headquarters anyway. So we tore down that portion of the headquarters, and then we realized we didn't have a place to go that's quiet away from the shop that we could meet and talk, so we rent a trailer. So we're coming to you live from our little trailer, and God willing, in the future we will have a more formal studio, but that's okay.
Yeah, so we're just going to dive into it. We've got some topics that we're going to bring up. We're going to open it up for some suggestions, maybe some YouTube ideas. We want to interact with the comments here a little bit. Scott is running a laptop, so he's searching through the comments. If you have something you want to ask us, if you want to interact, please do that there. Scott's going to go down through here. He's going to pick some out that we're going to pinpoint on and answer some questions. So we're just going to feel our way out. We'll go down through our list of things that we want to hit on and answer some comments. So if you got something for us, Scott, we'll just start rocking and rolling.
Not necessarily a question here, but I do see somebody has a new stick burner. I want to give you a piece of advice, something that I learned, and this could be controversial. That's okay. Anybody with a stick burner is likely going to say that they know a lot about barbecue. But anyway, the wet wood produces bitter smoke. So don't soak your wood on your smoker. That can go for stick burner, charcoal, any of that. You're going to get bitter, acidic, white, billowy smoke when you soak the wood.
You want that nice blue, clean burning smoke.
Yep,
for
we
sure.
sell a kiln drying wood at our shop because for that reason, so that we don't get bitter smoke. You want sweet blue, semi-transparent smoke when you're smoking.
So if it comes to meat, barbecue, hunting, the outdoors, anything like that, butchering, throw a comment in. If we spot it, we're going to answer it. So
here's one. You will eat the bugs. I think that's interesting. Maybe we address that a little bit. So we talk about, obviously we're huge carnivores. We're in the butcher business, and as such, I predict a assault on meat consumption in the next probably 2 years to decade that we're going to experience here in the United States. I literally think that it's going to become, well, it's already happened. This happened in the dairy industry when alternatives came around in the early 80s, and everybody just kind of brushed them off. But now some of your alternative milks have taken up something like 30% of the market. So we have to be mindful of that and keep an eye on it. But I think what we're possibly going to experience is a push to, it could be through climate change or whatever, to eat less meat. We certainly will push back on that. I think what's going to be tricky is what comes down from an administrative level and how it's regulated. I think there's a little bit of a false flag campaign right now where it looks like they're putting money into the meat production, but my spidey sensors are going off with that because I think it's going to lead to a bigger crackdown. It's like you get more government involvement in your operation, and then the regulations roll out where you just meat consumption. So
well, I think
I don't want to eat any bugs.
One of the big problems is that a lot of the smaller meat plants, they have to abide by the same rules as the larger ones, so those don't always apply. So sometimes it seems like the smaller meat shops are they're trying to squeeze those out. But
Scott, there's a knob on the back of the mic, the top one on the back of the mic.
Where?
Yep. Could you turn that like the opposite way of where it's at?
Is that better or worse? Better or worse?
Wrong one. Yeah, that one.
Is that better?
Yep.
Better or worse? Okay,
good?
we've got technical difficulties here.
Much better.
Good.
Okay. I didn't see any. I think I'm on a delay though. I didn't see any comments pouring in about that one.
Hey, something else in the comments. We want to know where people are from because we have obviously we have viewers from all over the world. So if you make a comment, if you could throw in there where you're from because we'd love to see.
Yeah. And I'll start calling out some names here if they're easy to read or whatever. Kyler Betts wants to know who's the better hunter, Seth or Scott? Well,
I think you should see my wall and my freezer.
Seth is the better hunter. However, because of my position on the slaughter floor, I have killed tens of thousands of animals compared to your few hundreds.
Very
I guess
true
it depends
statement.
on what we're hunting with. So
well, there is a video where we did a little archery competition. I think we know who's the better shot. No comment.
No. Somebody talks about a shop in Australia. Yeah, franchising the Bearded Butchers would be awesome. I mean, as we continue to grow, we can. We're certainly looking into stuff like that.
Let's just talk about it because the number one question we get is, do you ship your meats? Let's talk a little bit about the logistics that go into that, whether we do, whether we don't, and if there's any possibilities that we may in the future.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with the headquarters that we're building out. So as we continue to bring, products to market, we have our spices, which my son was like, "Don't tell the origin story again." But I'm not going to. But anyway, butchering and spices have everything to do with each other, and so that's how we're in the spice business. But to Seth's point about shipping meat, we have infrastructure set up to ship products that are not time temperature controlled, so they don't have to be refrigerated while they're in shipment, things like that. That's one of the things we're going to look at with the headquarters when we build it out, because it's also going to be our shipping and fulfillment center. It's going to be right across the street from our shop, and I think that will improve our ability to handle a project like that. Our pork bratwursts are our number one volume seller in our shop. Very popular. We have close to 30 different flavors, and those are something that, would be a pretty easy fit for us to put online. And then, obviously our steaks and things like that.
Now, we are talking frozen meats. They have to be suspended in time in that freezer pack in that box along with dry ice to get to its destination. Until then, we do have some products that are meat items that don't require refrigeration. Year shelf life, sealed up in these bags. We have the Brock Lesnar bites and the original bites. These are a jerky bite. So if you do want some meat products from us that don't require refrigeration, these are perfect for the backcountry, perfect for your everyday life, whether you're into fitness or whatever. Tons of protein, there's no sugar. So that if you're looking for a meat item from the Beard Butchers, this is a great option for you in the meantime until we get into the frozen products.
Yeah, these are great. Almost work as a meal replacement because there's 4 ounces. It's 52 grams of protein in there. So, and like Seth mentioned, they're keto essentially. They have no sugar. So if you're doing the it's just our meat married with our spices and made shelf stable in these nice little snack.
And in our industry, Scott and I grew up. We don't get to eat breakfast. We never really have because we're always at the shop super early in the morning. So we're always looking for a snack. This is a great breakfast snack. So.
Yeah,
that's what we enjoy.
Garrison Elias, how can you make a knife edge hold longer? I mean, you have to start with the knife, the quality of the steel. That's why we use almost exclusively the Victorinox. They've got a Swiss-made knife. The steel, it's going to hold an edge very well. The only thing you need to use is an actual sharpening steel to roll that, straighten that edge back up. So. Got to start with a good quality knife.
And we do have a video on our channel on how to sharpen a knife using a multi-stone with some mineral oil on it. So a lot of comments that we see on our channel, there are answers for those comments in a previous video that we've done on our channel. So if you haven't gone back through them in a while, just go back through those videos and you may find your answers there.
Favorite animal to butcher, Josh Wagner. That's bison for me. I think Seth says the same thing.
However, bison are the hardest animal to butcher. They're the hardest animal to raise, hands down. However, we're a little biased because we were raised on bison, but we do absolutely love the creature. It's by far our favorite to raise, butcher, and eat.
So, somebody's holding up a sign says, click on the super chat. Well, I'm going to do that as soon as I figure out how to do that. So stand by. Thank you for the super chat. But
yes, thank you. We appreciate the patience of our audience because, like Scott mentioned earlier, this isn't our first podcast. However, it's the first live podcast we've done on our channel. So we just thought it'd be a great way to interact with our audience a little bit better. So. And Scott's the techie guy. That's why he's sitting in front of the laptop.
Oh, Mom has a comment on here. She wants to know if your microphone is on, Seth. I purposely turned his off, Mom, because nobody needs to hear what he has to say.
Hi, Mom. Spencer, is my microphone on? Mom, my microphone is on. Thanks, Mom.
You all might just have to write down that question for the super chat, because in my feed here, I'm scrolling around and...
so Dana Ward said butt.
Oh, I've got it here.
Got it.
All right. So butt or shoulder for best for pulled pork on the Traeger Ranger.
Pork butt.
Yeah. Thanks for the comment. Do you want to speak a little bit to the bone-in versus boneless and talk a little bit about the video that we did?
I will. So butt or shoulder. So the pork butt is part of the shoulder. However, the shoulder is made up of the picnic and the butt. Our recommendation is use the butt portion. And we've found through different cooking that we've done, the bone-in butt cooks the best because the way the heat kind of penetrates that roast because of that bone in there. So our favorite is the pork butt with the bone in it. You can probably fit a nice 6 to 8 pounder on that Ranger. You're going to want to smoke it until it hits 165 degrees at about 225, and then you're going to want to wrap it. Take it up to about 205. Let it rest in a cooler for maybe up to an hour. Some of the best pulled pork you've ever had. So,
okay, thank you for the question. The couple other questions rolled in here. Best breed of cow for marbling, and obviously,
Oh, we're really gonna get the audience fired up with this one.
a lot of this stuff goes into marketing campaigns, but there are, certain breeds that tend to be heavily marbled. Obviously, the Japanese Wagyu, bar none, that's top of the line. Frankly, what you see most in your prime cattle are your black-hided cattle. Angus. There are plenty of other breeds that get in there. We do see like different cattle have different textures. Like you can get like a shorthorn, which has like a softer, creamier, probably more like with the melting point of the fat. We live in dairy country, so Holstein will wind up into the beef system pretty often. It's generally fantastic. Some of them can be really well marbled. It's just your muscle size to bone ratio is just not that great. So
that is something we want to do. We want to do a video on like a dairy breed animal versus your colored cattle. So like a Holstein versus an Angus, and do a side-by-side comparison so we can talk about the muscle size, the marbling, your yield percentages, the bone structure and stuff like that. So that is an idea that we just actually talked about the other day. So we do have plans of doing that one.
Somebody says, would you go on Shark Tank? I watch a lot of Shark Tank. I think there's a lot of good stuff to pick up. And, from our entrepreneurial journey, I think one of the reasons why we have a media channel along with our business is we started out with guys like Gary Vaynerchuk and others that we just kind of emulated, or we saw what they were doing, or they said, just pick up a phone, start, documenting your content, and then take it from there. So we watch other entrepreneurs. I think our business is probably beyond a Shark Tank level. I think one of the things that happens is like when you start out as a grassroots, and I'm not saying that facetiously or sound conceited or anything like that, but when you start out with a grassroots, kind of by your bootstraps business, you're going to go through these different periods of growth or phases. And, at first everybody's just kind of like, watching you, cheer you up and climb the ladder. But it's really weird. Like there's a certain scale that you have to, or a hump you got to get over. And then everybody kind of wants to knock you down the ladder. And I think we're kind of already there. Like, we have administration set up in the sense where, and it's all internal, but growth phases that you have to hit as a company in order to grow or scale a company. We've already got a few of those behind us. And I think a lot of people go on Shark Tank because they don't have those capability. And like I said, we love watching that show. We learn a lot from those guys. But I think by the grace of God, we've already got through some of those plateaus. So I'm not certain that it would be. One other thing too is like, as far as equity in our business, that's something that we have 100% ownership of the equity, and I'm not sure we'd be willing to give it up.
That's what I was going to point on, because this brand is something that we've held near and dear to us now for 8-10 years. When we first launched it, we certainly wouldn't have been able to do it without our internal team members. We have a phenomenal team, and we do plan on bringing those people in on this podcast, and we want to talk about the back end, the analytics, the SEO, the filming, the editing with Spencer, and just it's everybody that we have involved in this team and what's gotten us to where we're at. But I'm with Scott because something that we've worked so hard to create and build, I'd have a real hard time giving any of that up.
Yeah, so the cattle breed comment obviously started rolling in.
I told you that was going to happen.
Scottish Highland cattle, somebody's mentioned those. Those are the shaggiest, scruffiest, toughest thing that you ever did run across, except for maybe a buffalo, and we've butchered them. They have like red hair hanging over their eyes, and they're literally from the Scottish Highlands. They'll grow on ridges and eat briars and all this stuff. They're a very tough animal. I can't say that I've ever eaten the meat because we did it as part of our custom butchering operation.
Can only speak from experience of what we saw on the butchering side of a Scottish Highlander and the difficulty that it was to remove the hide off those suckers.
Tough little boogers. And then the other thing we always look at is like, as a butcher, when we go through the process of slaughter, it's, from cattle to cattle, you have this sort of investment in the time that you put into the slaughter, and then the hanging weight, the carcass hanging weight is really, you know, that's your yield. So on like a Highland or whatever, a lot of work, more work than a regular beef, they're going to have a lighter carcass. So, but they have less fat. So, they are tough little burgers. I mean, hats off to them.
I would say, you know, our opinion on cattle doesn't matter the breed. It's more about the finish, because I think you can take, you know, not that you can take any breed and turn it into excellent eating meat. However, what you feed it plays a very important role in how that end result of that meat's going to taste. So
yeah, somebody's talking about British whites. Yeah, we butchered those. Those kind of fit into the shorthorn category, where they have a nice creamy texture. But some of these breeds, they're almost rare. So like, I know I talked about Angus being a marketing campaign, but they are readily available. Whereas the British whites and things like that, yeah, Jerseys are good eating, but they're just not a high yielding beef. Somebody was asking about melted tallow for beard oil. That will smell terrible by the end of the day. I don't recommend it. If you've ever gotten butter in your beard or something like that.
It's like when you eat sweet corn, you get the butter in your beard.
How many animals have you two processed in our career? Well, first we should point out that we are surrounded by a team of other family members and whatnot, but we have been working in the actual slaughter position at our business for a little over 25 years now. And prior to so the first 20 years or a little less than 20 years, we did a lot of what we call custom butcher. So our kill count was higher than we do now, where we just butcher what we need for our butcher shop. But I've done the math, but like a common process for us was, and this was weekly, and was we would try to hit 15 cattle and 20 pigs every week. So Phil, give me the math on that, if you would. 15 cattle and 20 pigs annual, and then times it by 20, and then we'll round it up a little bit. I want to get you guys more solid numbers
in our facility. That's what our facility is set up for. So the size of our slaughter floor, the number of crew we have, the size of our holding coolers. We rotate our coolers from cooler A to cooler B for our dry aging process, and then the amount of staffing that it takes to run through the processing floor on a daily basis. So that's about what our facility was built for and designed for, was those numbers per week.
Yeah, and of course on top of that, we were doing the meats for our store, and then buffalo and some lamb, some goats, things like that.
If we've butchered, if it's out there to butcher, we've probably pretty much done it, from everything from ostrich to potbelly pigs to woolly pigs to you name it.
We are going to try to bring you guys an ostrich from start to finish here. Carlin, thanks for being a fan.
Thanks, Carlin.
I got 3,900 cows and 5,200 pigs.
3,900 cows, 5,200 pigs. So that's for kind of like one chunk of our career. So we could maybe add another 20% to that, and then all the other animals, small animals, whatever. But it's in the thousands, and I think that's led to some of the proficiency that you see that comes across on screen. Just the muscle memory that we do over and over again. Yeah, people are wanting to see a side-by-side cut of like your Jersey Holstein and your beef breed. We can do that. We can show you what it would look like when you cut a dairy breed. That's probably the best way to do it, is just pick like a dairy breed and cut it right beside a beef breed. We'll never make everybody happy, that's for certain. It's like trucks or tractors. Everybody has their own opinion on what they like. But as butchers, it's typically what's the best yield grade versus marbling, and availability too. So if you get into the rarer breeds and you just can't find them. How was your Summerslam experience? Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about Brock. We put a video out on our channel like a week ago, and basically just saying we do not feature Brock as often as you might think on our channel. So don't duck in zoom through a video looking for Brock and duck back out, because it's actually really bad for YouTube to recommend our videos then, and we saw people doing that, and it resulted in what became like a skid, I guess, of viewer recommended videos. But Summerslam was great. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Brock in the limelight, whether it's WWE or on our channel, simply because he's spending most of his time in Canada. I do want to get to a question here. Big Chap, the Bearded Butchers, what besides hunting do you guys do for fun? Well, I'm the father of 6 children. I don't know if that answers any of that, Big Chap, but anyway, for me, it's generally family time.
Scott has 6 and I have 4, so there's 10 kids between the two of us. So
yeah.
You can probably imagine what we do in our spare time.
And that's what makes hunting one of the great things for us to do, is we can not only spend time with a portion of our family while we're doing it, we can spend time together with the cousins. And then just generally, for me, a hobby is like fitness or working out. It's something that I think has helped my job a lot over the year. It's a physical job. So as a younger man, it was like I better get stronger and stay strong.
He was just trying to keep up with me all these years.
That may have been true, but I think anyway, we'll leave it alone. We don't really even compete on that stuff anymore. We're getting too old. But for me, the only thing outside of hunting and family time is really just fitness. So
for me, obviously hunting is something that I love. I've hunted since I was probably 3 or 4 years old with my dad, but outside of hunting, old pickup trucks, couple old cars, putting around, go to some car shows, stuff like that. Grilling, of course, but the number one thing for me is hunting. This time of year, it's August. I woke up this morning, it was about 52 degrees. The blue jays were singing. I've got my tree stands laid out in the yard. I've been shooting my Bowtech. I'm ready to get out there, sit in a tree stand, just spending time in God's creation. I absolutely love the outdoors.
Yep. Somebody pointed out you didn't say use Bearded Butcher Blend Hollywood season on your pork butt. Justin, Thank you for that reminder.
Hey, Justin, that's a good
way
one.
to turn out.
Thanks, Justin.
Good solid pork butt. Greetings from Morocco. Greetings. And that's one of the interesting things about our channel is when, you hear from not only people that are close by, obviously we love that, the support, but people that are across the country. We've had people that streamed our videos for somewhere in New Guinea, Papua New Guinea, right? And they they had a small collection of butchers, and they were trying to teach them how to use the butcher. And Phil held up a sign.
It said 12:30, so we're 30 minutes in. I had a feeling that this hour-long podcast was going to go pretty quick.
Harvest toast.
When we get to talking, it goes pretty quick.
Travis, we do not. That's interesting because with our new headquarters, there's a big parking lot, and that's something that somebody's brought up before, is whether or not we will harvest host. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's where you come in and park your RV and spend the night and stuff.
We'll likely put you to work if that's the case.
We may not do overnight stays, but we do have a massive parking lot that you're welcome to park in.
And there are some campgrounds within very short driving distance of us. So
yes, semi parking, RV parking. There's all kinds of parking around here. So if you're going through, maybe you're hitting one of the interstates near us, and you're like, man, I should swing in and see those guys, but I don't know if they can accommodate a semi and RV. Come on down. We've even got a place you can land a helicopter, or a local airport if you want to fly in. So
somebody
we'll
asked,
get you here.
Foxtrot, do you two have an airplane? We do. It's actually owned by our father. When he was 59, so 15 years ago, he decided when our home farm that we lived at growing up was right beside a little airport called Sky Park, which was really interesting because general aviation in the 80s was like the guy that built the Sky Park had the concept where it was a fly-in community. So like you fly in, drive your plane into your garage, and so they built like an allotment there. And then when we got into flying, well, anyway, we had lived at that farm and watched planes fly over. And when I say fly over, I mean that we were in the flight path. But anyway, our dad decided after many years of watching that, and we had moved from that location, that he wanted to be a private pilot. So he was 59. I was in my early 20s. Seth would have been mid 20s, and all three of us went through private pilot training there at that sky park, and all three, I'm happy to say, obtained our private pilot's license. And then our dad purchased an older 1961 or 64 Cessna
61 Skyhawk.
Yep. Which we flew, and we would fly for recreation. So we are both private pilots, just via visual flight rules rated, no IFR. And then the business really took off, the families grew, and so we haven't done any flying in recent years. But
Something we want to get back in the skies, though, because it's something we thoroughly enjoyed.
Yep. Ireland, South Africa. Somebody's asking about the bison we raise. Are they pure-blooded or beefalo crossed? They are pure-blooded. In fact, a number of them, we have genetic testing to prove that they have pure bison genetics. Do you like heritage breeds? Somebody's talking about be careful of those Cessnas, but Christian Hansen also asked, do you like heritage breeds? We've had our fair share of heritage breeds come through the shop. Berkshire is probably one of the better. We've seen red wattles. We've seen those woolly pigs, the Malinese or something, which everybody swears back by. The thing that you have to think about is everything that we do, is obviously like that time, how much time is invested into, basically what's happened for commercial meat production. It's been narrowed down to like your top 3 or 4 breeds of pigs, which are, your Yorkshire, your Hampshire, your Durocs, land race, anyway, or a mixture of those. And that's because they grow fast, they produce the right lean to muscle ratio, fat to muscle ratio, and when you butcher them, you're not dealing with like heavy hided, some of these pigs, they get real thick hair and stuff like that. But anyway, then you have the other ends of the spectrum where you have those pigs that are like the lard pigs that have like that much fat. I mean, this is not beneficial for, you might have the best chop you've ever had in your life, but you're also going to have,
the worst yield you've ever had.
200 gallons of lard. Like, what are you going to do with that? So, like, we have to, as a commercial butcher, we have to think about, like, what's the best value for our time and money, and then to give the customer, the value as far as, like, the eating experience or whatever. So we've had our fair share with heritage, but we don't stray too far from, I guess, what you would call your commercial breeds.
I want to loop back to a previous comment that we had about I think we skipped over it, going to the Summerslam in Nashville.
Oh, sure.
Talk about an experience. That was absolutely incredible. Easily, as far as entertainment, one of the best shows I've ever been to in my life. So sitting ringside in Nashville, watching Lesnar go at it in the ring, absolute blast. So
it was.
You may see us at another one.
Very exciting,
we'll just have to wait
entertaining.
And see,
and somebody just asked, how did our relationship with Lesnar develop? There's a video on that on our channel. I just encourage you to go watch that. Any chance of making comparison between beef, bison, pork, turkey, bear? Good one, Mike. Yeah, we've done beef bacon, pork bacon, turkey, that's like a foreign product. Bear, well, we got to butcher it. We got to kill a bear. Bison are very lean.
You might be able to produce something. I don't know if it looked like bacon or not.
So let's talk a little bit about video ideas, some of the stuff that we have coming up for you. One of the things that I want to do is make a meatloaf for a sandwich. And not everybody's had a meatloaf sandwich, but what I want to do is like take some lean venison, grind it until we get proteins to bind where it's tacky, and then form it into a loaf and put it in like a bread pan and do it on the smoker and in the oven, just to showcase like how you take like ground products or even previously ground products and value add by making it into something that once you cook it, you can slice it thin and it will be like a lunch meat for sandwiches. So like you can usually only do that with a whole muscle product like the round, but I want to do it with like a ground product to just be like thinking about if you shoot a deer, what's the best way to get your value out of it. That's a video that I have an idea to do. We just did another bison one, or like an update one. We did bison versus beef brisket. When are we putting that video out?
Probably next week.
Yeah, probably.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, probably next
Okay.
week.
The next 7 days.
Whenever Spencer gets it done. It's filmed. It just has to be edited.
Ribeye cap roll, Walmart steak versus Kobe steak. Order some meat off Amazon, which I do want to plug in a comment earlier. And this is not a paid advertisement, but since we don't offer the option for shipping meats, we encourage people to go to a couple of different sites if you want to have meat shipped to your door. We've vetted these and they turn out good product. So number one's E3 Ranch. That's E3 Ranch, probably e3ranch.com. Go there, Google it. They ship, it's beef only.
Phil, are you going to throw these in the description of the video? I had a feeling that's what our SEO guy, Phil, was doing.
Okay, so we're going to put some links down here for you.
Highly recommend these guys, like Scott's saying.
Yeah, we've met them, spent some time around them. And so you've got E3 Ranch, and then Greensbury Farm. It's another good one for grass-fed beef, pork, chicken, and some bison. Whereas E3 would be like your beef. This will be like all of your other stuff. And then
Kai Farms.
Kai Farms for your Japanese Wagyu. That's KII Farms. And then Sakura Farms for your Ohio grown Japanese genetics, but grown in Ohio Wagyu.
Something else too, if you don't plan on buying meat online and you're going to go out and obviously you're going to harvest it yourself, we have a fantastic relationship with Meat Your Maker. They sell the processing equipment for the home user. Go check them out. We'll throw that link in as well. So we also do have some items on our website. We have the celery juice powder. We have the nitrites and things like that to make your smoked meat. So this time of year, everybody's got a freezer full of maybe something they shot the previous year. You're thinking about getting out there this fall. You want to do a freezer clean. Loop back through some of our old content. Check out, maybe you want to make some smokies, some summer sausage, some hot dogs, something like that. Grab your Meat Your Maker, your made with meat equipment. Grab some spices. 1 ounce of seasoning per 2 pounds of meat. We actually be a good time to bring up this limited edition shaker that we have coming out. It's camo and hunter orange. This is just for the hunter in you and the outdoorsmen and women of the world. Put that, at hunting camp, take it with you in the backcountry. So that
we're going to get to that because we're at the dawn of hunting season here. Want to get to a question?
Well, this time of year, I told you it was 52 degrees this morning, and all I can think about is hunting, so it's on my mind.
Tristan Zimler, we have 2 York pigs that, what are the signs they're getting close to butcher weight? Well, can you pick it up? No, I'm joking.
If you can pick it up, you probably shouldn't butcher it yet.
This is a tough one. They make tapes that you can take and put out there. And over the years, I would have people ask me this and had a really hard time judging it when it was in their environment, like in their pen. Like they asked me to come to their farm and look because I saw them so many times in like our pens. So I knew the pig proportionate to the pen. But you want that pig to be a minimum.
And every farmer, you'd say, well, that pig probably weighs about 260. And you'd be like,
all beef weigh 1,200 pounds, and yeah, I mean and so if you tell them lighter, anyway, you want your pig to weigh about 250 pounds live weight minimum. Should take about 6 months for most pigs. Which somebody mentioned they can finish Berks in 6 months. I said Berks were great, so yeah, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. And then so yeah, you can get one of those tapes, try to stretch along the pig, do all the math and everything like that, but. Generally 6 months when he's got some nice jiggly jowls, then you're ready for butcher. And then at what point in the
jiggly jowls?
Jiggle your own, buddy. What point in the curing process can we add maple to make maple bacon? Well, if you really want that maple flavor to come through, the best thing for you to do is add a maple sugar to the exterior. Like, so when you pull your bacon out to go get ready to smoke it, Because if you add it to the cure, it's just going to be very little hint of maple. But the best thing to do is get a maple sugar, which is just literally maple syrup that's been cooked down to reduce it to sugar. You can get it on Amazon. And then when you take your bacon out of your cure to put it in your smoker, coat the exterior of it.
Pat it dry first.
Yeah, pat it dry, but coat that exterior with maple sugar.
Add a little bit of cinnamon on top of that.
Yeah, hang it in your smoker, and all that will set up on that. And then when you slice it, every piece will have like a maple crusty, delicious glaze to the outside of it.
You're reading questions. I want to ask the audience, or we're giving answers to these questions, but I want to ask the audience a question. What's the butchering scene like in your area? Assuming people are super booked out, everybody's busy. It's a dying skill. It's a skilled trade in America. Very hard to find labor. People that want to do the job. What are you guys seeing in your area? We've been told that we've had a huge impact on people, opening up their own butcher shops around the country. We've given them the confidence and the knowledge to do that, which we think is absolutely phenomenal. That's awesome, because we never know what kind of impact we're having on other people until they tell us. So just curious, what's it like in your area? Are you a butcher yourself? Are you a butcher because of the content you saw from us? Yeah, just curious. I'd like to know if you have something to throw in the comments. Go for it.
Okay, maybe while those are coming in, I'll just hit a couple of these. Somebody says, William Smith, butter blend's the best you ever used. Thank you. Do you do any electric fence for your buffalo? Yes, it's a high tensile 8-strand fence, 5.5 feet high. It's got 5 hot, 3 dead, I think.
Have the bison gotten out? Yes,
yeah.
they have.
Have you hunted nilgai?
We've butchered one.
We butchered them. They're in the antelope family. Very tender meat. We don't actually. So somebody asked us what our favorite thing to hunt is. For me, it's elk. I think it's the most awesome meat. Return on your time spent. Fantastic. Love everything about elk. Obviously, white-tailed deer would be a close second. Where do we hunt? We have some property in southern Ohio. Somebody's asking about seasoning packets for 25 pounds of grind for breakfast sausage, bratwurst, etc. Yes. So we are actively working on that. We do make for your jerky. We do make seasoning kits for jerky that we sell online. I think we're sold out of some of these, but we're working on them for hunting season. And then some of your extra, your pink cure, your sodium nitrite, 506 celery juice powder. Essentially what these are, they're going to produce the same thing, which is a pink tint and a safer meat, but one is made from, chemically they're identical. One is synthetic, one is made from natural sources, and then encapsulated citric acid, that gives you your tanginess, changes your pH in your summer sausage and bolognas and things like that, so you get that familiar tang to it. Yes, we are working on the 25-pound kits. We want to do some of our most popular bratwurst flavors. The idea would be you can just get some of the made-for-meat equipment and get some pork butts and mix it with the sausage. We'll send you the casings, the seasoning, everything. You can have some of our more popular flavors like Georgia Peach, which is Brock Lesnar and Zach Brown's favorite flavor, jalapeno cheddar, macho nacho, tailgater. You won't find these anywhere else. They're proprietary. So yeah, we're working on that. There's a couple other ones there that I skipped over, but I want to try to read some of these as they're coming in. Guys, flag anything you see if you see them coming in.
Phil, Spencer, Lissa, you got anything for us? Anything interesting?
West
entertaining?
Sussex. Oh, I know one of these. West Sussex, UK. What's up? We are actively trying to get our products into other countries. I hate to do the whole COVID thing, but it changed, screwed everything. When I talked about general aviation and flying airplanes, everybody said, man, if you flew before 2001, before 9/11, it was awesome. Like, it was like booming and everything like that. Well, now with shipping and borders and things like that and duties, since COVID, it's been so stupid, because what people were doing was, we had customers all over the world. They ordered through our website. We were trying to keep our shipping costs down, but literally these countries were getting you order our spice from Canada or Australia, and it comes in, and then the the customs calls you, emails you, whatever, and says you owe like $120 for this product. They would hold it ransom.
And there's nothing we can do
And
about
so
it.
we had to shut down a lot of our international shipping because it was embarrassing that like this was happening. As a result, we currently have a distributor set up in Canada, gospelbarbecue.com. So if you go to gospelbarbecue.com, they have a website that looks similar to ours. They have a lot of our products, and they've been great. We send them, we take the one time over the border, buy the pallet, they put it in stock. Now we just have that one set up. We did Singapore, set up a similar distributor in Singapore. We are looking for distributors in the UK and Australia. Those would be our next two biggest markets, I think. But yeah, it's definitely put a damper on us to try to get our actual products into some of the foreign countries. Somebody says that our deer skinning video was that they watched and started doing their own. They can do a deer in 15 minutes. That's awesome.
Good job.
We want to invoke all kind of change
one-
in the industry where people are not only doing it themselves, but also they're maybe going into enterprise themselves.
We love hearing the success stories about how you were able to, take an animal, process it, and feed your family with it. So we absolutely love hearing those.
Matt, why? I love your products and your prices are great, but the shipping costs are daylight robbery. I agree. I mean, it's been so. I mean, obviously domestic, we offer $50 and more on our shipping is free.
We're actively trying
nothing
to.
we can do. And then the other thing, I mean, I probably shouldn't even bring this up on air, but whatever, is taxes. So and this kind of goes into, as a company continues to grow or whatever, but we have to stay abreast with tax law and not saying like us paying income tax or something like that, but like taxing you, the customer, making sure that we're filed in all the states, that we do, all the reporting that's required. It used to be the internet was kind of, I mean, me personally, when I bought something off the internet, it was great because I have to pay tax. But that's all changed. Like these things are tough on a business because then, it just eats into your margins. So we can't.
And we'll get into more of this in the future. We'll do another podcast and we'll talk about, the business side of a lot of what we have going on and explain, a lot of this stuff. So it's definitely a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. I built a small butcher shop on my farm, do our goats and venison because of your channel. Bingo.
Love it.
That's where we're going to beat the system, guys, by more people taking and doing that that skill at home. Have you ever butchered an alligator? No.
I've eaten it, but I've never butchered it.
If we lived in Louisiana,
Somebody
we
did
probably
invite
would,
us to Louisiana last week.
Video idea: dry aging skin on versus skinless. Pros and cons. That's a good one. I mean, so I wanted to touch on that a little bit because we live in Ohio, and so one of the great things is that our humidity is pretty high. So when we dry age a deer, we have the controlled environment in our coolers, but if you do it in your barn, that's one of the things that Western guys struggle with because the humidity is so low, it'll turn into leather.
Unless you leave the hide on it.
Unless you leave the hide on. So that has a lot to do with it, different climate, geographically where you're at. Love you guys. Keep the great work. God bless. Thank you, Nuclear Salmon. 10 minutes.
Boy,
what
this
if
is
we
going
go
fast.
for 4 hours?
We
Phil?
could
It's
just
gonna be
keep
the
going
one
if
and
you guys
only.
want. You don't have anywhere to be on a Friday afternoon, do you? All right.
Cattle mutilation. So, Mom makes another comment. I'm just curious.
How's her dog doing? She got a new dog.
When's the last time you two arm wrestled? The last time we did that, our elbows hurt for 6 weeks.
We promised each other we never
And
do
our
it again.
arms make us too much money for us to do that again. We leave that up to our boys now. The cattle mutilation. So this one, whether controversial or not, we went on Tucker Carlson's show. Long story short, Seth got a call from a producer, and he's like, how'd you get my number? And she's like, well, there's ways or whatever. But they were calling from Fox, and they had a news story about cattle that have been found mutilated, weird circumstances, blood missing, no sign of a crime scene, call it that. No,
This has been going on for
surgical
decades.
cuts, like since 40 years or something. And they specifically asked us if we would give them expert butcher opinion on how difficult it is to butcher livestock. Well, of course, that's in our wheelhouse. So Fox sent a crew to our shop, and they filmed, and then they actually flew us to LA and did a promo piece for the upcoming film, and then that actually airs
last night.
It aired last night on Fox Nation. I guess it's an app you have to download, but it's a 1 hour piece, I think, on, and they interviewed other folks, ranchers and things like that. But cattle mutilation was something that was we spoke on, and
some weird stuff.
We did some research, and it basically just boiled down to almost unexplainable. Some call it the greatest unexplained mystery
bearded alien butchers
in history. Yeah, bearded alien. I mean, we were like kind of speculating, like, is it otherworldly?
It was weird. Can't deny it.
It was weird. 1 a.m. in Western Australia. Good night. Throw some meat on the bobby. Good night, Western Australia.
Hey, we need to talk a little bit about how we're going to get the female audience up a little
Day
bit
in
on
the
our
life of
channel.
butcher for a video.
You know that?
You could just shave, and then you could be the female portion of our team.
Our audience is made up of like 92% men, so we want to know what do the ladies want to see on the channel.
Well,
is it more cooking? Is it a Susie Homemaker stuff, like stuff in the kitchen? Maybe get some of the ladies involved.
I have a concept for this, and it's Operation Susie Homemaker, because I feel like my wife, Seth's wife, his wife, everybody is using the product, but it's not coming to light because we do so much of our focus on barbecue, big expensive grill, butcher the meat, the Tim the Toolman Taylor thing, and what it's not getting captured, not coming to light, is the fact that this stuff is getting used on foods for, and I'm not trying to be patronize here or be sexist or whatever, but like in the kitchen, like I use it in the kitchen, but I don't film it because it's like I'm in the kitchen. But yeah, that's the idea, is like whether you're using your oven, a skillet, an air fryer, putting on foods that aren't cooked or grilled. I know personally, like brown sugar, or like our cinnamon swirl, is going to go on a lot of toast, and I've even put it on watermelon and fruits and peaches and things like that. Like, and then
every morning, bulletproof coffee, I drink it. Chunk of grass-fed unsalted butter, some MCT oil, put it in some black coffee, whip it up, throw some cinnamon swirl on it.
So we want to know.
Phenomenal.
We want to feature. I mean, not to bring in more of a female audience in that sense, like, but the idea is that we want to feature the products being used by our female audience, I think, is one of the things.
Hey, women like to hunt, butcher, and eat and grill and do all the stuff we like to do. So
they are some of
let's just get them on board.
Some of the best hunters and butchers out there, for sure.
Popular suggestions here: Seth in a dress and shirtless.
Oh boy,
which one is it?
Both. Well, I did mention to Phil that
just Seth. What are you trying to say?
We are wearing pants today because I know a lot of podcasters don't have to wear. They look good from the chest up, but we are wearing jeans.
Broken Road Homestead, female here, literally a Susie Homemaker, except I also have a full-time job. I love the channel. Yes, that's what's awesome. I think homesteading, stuff like that, a lot of that is part of our base, and we want to, women on YouTube need to make a TikTok. We have a huge TikTok following, 650,000 people.
Yeah, if you want to follow us on TikTok, head over there. The Bearded Butchers.
On TikTok, we're probably going to do all the same thing, like carry meat quarters around, stuff like that.
TikTok, though, we've been banned once, got the channel back. Now our account's under another warning because of content. So TikTok's a funny one. We keep getting threatened to get banned on that one. So
Yes.
we're rolling down inside 4 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up here pretty
So
soon.
in the last 4 minutes here, I want to know if you guys liked it. First one we've done. Did you guys like it? Do you want to see another one? Do you want to see a weekly podcast? Maybe, shoot for that Friday around noon. What do you guys got for us? Should we do it again?
Yeah, while you guys are getting to that, so talk quickly about this. Somebody wants to know, they have a pound of American bison. What should they want to turn to jerky? What is the best seasonings? The Bearded Butcher Original, which this is a limited edition label that's coming out for hunting season. This is camo and orange, but you want to, my opinion, original or Cajun are your best for your jerky. We have been going through updates with our labels. When we first developed the brand, we just made one label and just put different words on it or whatever. So Chipotle is getting a new label. Things that the product itself is not changing, but getting new labels. But to answer that question, original is recommended.
Just remember 1 ounce of seasoning per 2 pounds of meat. So this shaker right here will do roughly 12 to 13 pounds. So pretty easy math.
People say love it. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Weekly podcast. Yeah, we can do that for certain. Probably try to bring in some guests.
Yeah, guests. Who do you guys want to see? I think you know the celebrities that we know.
Well, I think they're all going to say the same thing, but I think what's important about that is that, yeah, we've been known to get around some celebrities, but really what would be fun to do is interview some of our team and talk about what it's like to work with or for the Bearded Butchers.
We want to bring in the business end of it, what it took to grow this brand to where it's at today, and who, and give recognition to our team members that have helped us do that.
Teamwork makes the dream work. And so we have people that are involved to bring you this content. And so we certainly want to thank them. Maybe we should interview our wives to find out what it's like to be married to a Bearded Butcher.
Oh boy.
And find out.
I'd probably learn some things I don't even know.
Susie Homemaker. Get Dr. Sean Baker to talk about the carnivore diet. Excellent book. I've read the book.
He has our spices.
Sean has our spices. We could try to bring him on the show. These are great suggestions. Zach Brown. Zach's a cool guy. He's a busy guy. That's one of the things too, like, carving out time. Seth drive the Bro Dozer, so people think he looks like Heavy D. I agree.
Heavy D, if you're watching, let's get together and drive the Bro
Recommendation for a
Dozer.
small, sturdy girl that will survive trail riding side by side at the Hatfield McCoy trails. Honestly, probably your Traeger Ranger. I think you could drop that a few times and nothing would break. You couldn't do that with the Mini Max Green Egg. It's ceramic. Bearded Butcher history and how the growth happened. A lot of those are channels that we have. Oh, they want us to interview Meat Church. That's fine. I mean, we're all just doing our jam.
I like watching him. He's
Bell.
pretty cool.
Mark Bell's a good suggestion. Debunk the woke environmental nonsense. Rebeef. Collab with female butchers.
So
activities for the kids at the stores. Yeah, we
collab with a female butcher. We're actually really good friends with Laura Zara. She's an outdoors woman who loves to spend time in the backcountry Montana, killing her own food and cooking it up, and we're really good friends. So we talked to her about coming in and doing a video with us. So if that's something you want to see, let us know. She's a pretty cool chick.
British Butcher Scott Ray, yep, great guy. Jordan Peterson, love listening to what Jordan has to say. Will we ever move out of the big city of Creston? I mean, our roots are here. I don't think so. I don't see anything shaking me loose.
Well, speak for yourself, because I might wind up out west someday.
You'll be in Florida.
Guys, remember the other side of the world is sleeping right now. So maybe do one for them. Well, we're gonna make this a video so you can watch it. You just won't be able to interact. Obviously.
Even though the live ends, we're gonna post it as a real video so you can watch it.
Who is older? Seth is 2 years older than me. He's 42. I soon to be 43. September, and he'll be 43. I am 40. Heavy D. Yeah, we should have Heavy D. Bearded Butcher beard balm. We have Bearded Butcher beard balm, just so you guys know.
We know those guys out at Diesel Brothers, so Hey guys, if you're
Quick
watching,
hello from the Netherlands. Put AOC in a smoker. All right. Okay. What's up? Got the Brock seasoning, our 10th one. Awesome. Thank you. I've been going through that one a lot.
appreciate that.
Collab with deer meat for dinner. Yeah, we've talked to him. It's just with these, it's just weird. Like, everybody's busy, and I know that's just like such a thing to say.
Well, the thing
like
is
Guga Foods, we talked to him and stuff like that, but it's like, generally speaking, we're doing butchering stuff. Like, we're still butchers.
We're not,
and like people will often, they'll be like, oh, please don't forget where you came from, and like, what we literally have members of our team that are like, you guys have to put the knives down so we can do other stuff and like grow the media side of it, because we describe it as 3 pillars. Pillar 1's our brick and mortar butcher shop. Pillar 2 is our spice fulfillment business, which is our our stuff that we sell online, mail order, arrives in your mailbox. Pillar 3 is the media side. We don't spend enough time on the media side, which is kind of foolish from a business perspective, because when we do, it brings more business to both Pillar 2 and Pillar 1. But generally for us, the problem is not that we're gonna become big celebrities and forget where we came from or leave a small town or whatever. It's that we don't put enough effort into collabs and spending time working on the actual media outreach side of the business.
We're not full-time YouTubers, so if we were full-time YouTubers, we could easily go visit some of those other people and collab and things like that.
Why is your beard so incredibly red compared to
Steve,
Seth?
I'm glad
because
you.
it's
I'm glad,
awesome.
I'm glad
That's
you
why,
brought that
Steve.
up, Steve.
It matches the color of the seasoning. He's not even. He's not even a brand guy. I don't know. I mean, obviously my hair is not red.
It's pretty red.
It's.
I just want to know why Spencer set you closer to the camera so it makes it look like you're bigger than me. Spencer's over there laughing.
I
you did that on
think
purpose,
I
didn't
don't
you,
think that's
Spencer?
the camera.
Did he?
Unintentional.
All right.
Did he pay you off to do that?
Malcolm Reed, yeah, we talked. Malcolm sells our spices, so
What's up, Malcolm?
yeah. I mean, we generally have a really, really good relationship across industry, and I think that just comes to being loyal to who we are, what our products are.
We love what we do. We love cutting up meat and cooking it and feeding people and knowing that other people are learning from our channel and feeding their families, and it's what we love to do. We love to know that the industry may continue to grow and prosper because of something we produced.
Bring Sean in to talk about the farming side. Yeah, we'll definitely bring Sean in.
I've suggested to him a bunch of
first
times.
guest.
I've suggested to him that he needs to do a farming video, but
Go watch his TikTok, JD Farmer 70. Comment on his TikTok. Tell him
Seth being out angled. I like Steve.
Seth being
He's the
out
same
angled.
one that made the red beard comment.
Yeah.
Steve, you're my guy.
Do you gentlemen lift weights? We do, but generally it's just as a way to be able to lift beef. All right, that's about it.
We're a little past our
A
time.
little over an hour here.
That was fun.
We're going to bring you more of these because they are fun to do and it's good interaction. Gives us fresh new ideas. We can connect to you, our customer and audience, so we can continue to bring you value. That's what we want to do.
Just so you guys know, you can continue to comment on this video. We will see them. We see almost every single comment that comes through. Apologize if we don't get to everyone. We try to get to most. But even though this live video has ended, you can still certainly comment. So
Before we go, somebody says, "Are you sure one of your daddy's not the milkman?" Well, my mom's on here. I'm actually a twin. I have a twin sister. No, I'm pretty
I don't
sure.
think you look like the milkman.
No. All right, that's it. We are going to duck out, spend the rest of our afternoon. Hope you guys enjoy your afternoon weekend. Once again, we want to thank you.
Yep. And in the meantime, get your bow out, start shooting it, start thinking about deer season. It's right around the corner. Those temperatures at night are falling. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
For those of you that are watching this and it's no longer live, go ahead and post your comments and we will review it for our next live video so that we can continue to bring the knowledge that you seek.
So I would say as of right now, we're going to shoot for next Friday, which is what date?
It's a week from today.
I know, but what's today? The 19th. So August 19th at noon, 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll probably just shoot for doing another one.
Stop tapping the table. It's bad for the mic. All right.
Start smacking your
That's
head.
it. We can't go longer an hour or we'll start fighting.
We're
so.
jittery.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.